to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we are in the brand new 2023 Chevy Equinox. We just got this one in on trade. It is currently available, at least at the time of me making this video, but there was plenty of changes for the 2023 Equinox. It got more power, it got new colors, it got a new braking system as well. It's a very good looking SUV, and it's going to be competing with competitors like the Nissan Rogue and Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, just to name a few. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing it. So as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2023 Equinox. First one being the LS, starting at $27,995. LT, which is the one we are in today, starting at $29,095. RS for $32,095. And lastly, the Premier, starting at $33,195. And by the way, that was all pricing for the front wheel drive configuration. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive to any of those trim levels, simply add $1,600. But so that regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 1.5-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder, putting out 175 horsepower. And yes, that is a 5 horsepower bump from the previous model year, so extra 5 horsepower. It's better than nothing, but 203 pound-feet of torque sent to the front wheels or all wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60 time coming in at approximately 8 seconds flat, with MPG numbers coming in at 26 in the city, 31 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 24 city, 30 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the Equinox here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2023 Equinox here up to speed. And here we go. All right, it's not too bad. I mean, it's definitely not the quickest thing I've ever driven, but you shouldn't have any issues emerging onto the highway. 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. It's, I don't know, I usually like less than 8 seconds, I'll just put it that way, but it's not bad for an SUV, I guess so. Anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 16-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 16-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, comes in at 121 feet. And by the way, I did say there was a new braking system for the 2023 Equinox. Essentially, the way that works is they switched from a vacuum-based braking system to an electronically assisted braking system. So as far as that braking feel goes now, okay, it almost skidded there. It's incredible. It instantly brings you to a stop. So that is a very, very quick braking system. So I remember saying that I liked the braking system before too, but I feel like this one's better. So good upgrade, Chevy. I like it. But so then touching on suspension and handling, up front, you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, 4-link rear suspension. As far as ride quality goes, it's actually been perfectly fine on my short test drive here today. I actually like it. So absolutely no complaints from me there. As far as cabin noise goes, we are going, what are we going? 35 miles per hour right now. There's a little bit of road noise, but wind noise I will say is definitely held at bay. I've had no complaints there, but a little bit of road noise has to be expected in this type of vehicle. But as far as steering feel goes, it's not bad. It's not the heaviest steering feel, of course. You wouldn't expect it to be, but it's not as loose of a steering feel as you traditionally find on other SUVs. I will put it that way. So I would probably say it's just right. I don't know. That's a good way to phrase it. And touching on visibility, as far as that goes, looking out my rear view mirror right now, I can see perfectly fine actually out the back. So 100% no complaints from me there either. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2023 Chevy Equinox. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2023 Chevy Equinox, finished in Summit White. And so since I mentioned the color name, as far as the new colors go for 2023, they will include Radiant Red Tint Coat, Harvest Brown Metallic, and Sterling Gray Metallic. So if you wanted one of the newest colors, those are going to be it. But let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 3, indicating that the Equinox is built and assembled in Mexico. So that is where this one is going to be built. But let's go ahead and start up front. LED headlights do come standard for every single trim level across the board. I love that. Of course, with LED daytime running lights as well. Do get the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, the headlights will turn on automatically for you there. But you also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and sense the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when the vehicle is gone, it's going to bounce back up to high beams for you there. And if you wanted fog lights, go with the Premier trim level. That is how you're going to go ahead and get them. But that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side. All right, so now taking a look at the side profile here. Roof rails are going to come standard on the RS and Premier. Black window surrounds do come standard, but one thing I always like the Chevy does is you got the Equinox lettering spelled out on the front doors in chrome. That definitely looks good up there. Heated power adjustable side mirrors will come standard for all trim levels. You will get integrated turn signals if you go with the Premier trim level, and then body colored if you go with the LT trim level and up. If you go with that LS, it's essentially like a matte black finish, in case you were curious about that. But take a look down at the wheel setup. 17-inch aluminum alloys for the LS and LT. That, of course, is what you guys are looking at right now. I think they actually look good. I like this style. But 19-inch aluminum alloys for the RS. In case you haven't figured it out, the RS is the sportier trim level of the bunch. And then 18-inch aluminum alloys for the Premier. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the Equinox, all the way up top, you will find a matte black shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. If you wanted LED taillights, go with the RS or Premier trim levels. Do have some trim level badging found at the bottom right-hand corner of that rear liftgate there. And then just below it all, it is kind of tucked away, but there actually is a single exhaust outlet down there. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Is always here is that exhaust clip. So now since you are around to the back of the Equinox, when it comes to opening that rear liftgate, it's going to be a manual liftgate for the LS and LT trim levels, power liftgate for the RS. It's going to be optional on the LT though, and then a hands-free power liftgate for the Premier trim level. Now, we'll say we do have that optional power liftgate on our LT, so that is pretty cool. There's a button on the key fob that you can control it through that. There's also a button on the liftgate itself, but either way, we got the power liftgate, so I like that. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 29.9 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there's a 60-40 split, bumping that up to 63.9 cubic feet with all rows folded. 12-volt power outlet back there. Was surprised to see that. I like that. Cargo lighting, you got some grocery bag hooks, some tie-down anchors, and to my surprise, you do have in-floor storage, but it's a decent amount of in-floor storage. So even some larger SUVs don't have this much in-floor storage. So I like how Chevy pulled that off, however they pulled that off. But then make your way up to the rear legroom, coming in at 39.9 inches. Again, very impressive. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. I had plenty of space back there. There is a rear center armrest with cup holders for all trim levels across the board. Got rear ventilation coming standard for all trim levels as well. Dual rear USB charging ports, and then if you wanted heated rear seats, that is available. That actually does come standard on the Premier trim level, so obviously we don't have that one today. But then making our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating coming with the LS, and by the way, that cloth seating also comes on the LT and the RS trim levels. Perforated leather coming on the Premier. There will be an 8-way power driver's seat with the LT trim level and up. Heated front seats for the RS and Premier trim levels, and then ventilated front seats are going to be optional for the Premier. But I will say, seating has 100% been plenty fine for me in my short test drive here today. That may be due in part because they are power adjustable, and there is power lumbar that is quite adjustable. I will say that. I always like when the power lumbar is super adjustable, because not all power lumbars are built equally, and some of them aren't that adjustable. But in the Equinox, it was certainly plenty comfortable seating. But then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the RS and Premier, optional on the LT, and then it will be heated on the Premier trim level as well. Then make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got your Chevy bow tie logo on the one side. When you flip it over, lock, unlock, the button to pop the rear hatch, and that circular button, that's going to be your remote start. Always love seeing those. So you can warm up the Equinox on super cold days here in Western Maryland, and it'll be all nice and toasty for you. But it is all keyless entry with the push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is to your right, and there is a small digital display front and center to control what is on that digital display. There are steering wheel mounted controls found on the right side of the steering wheel. That's going to give you things like a digital speedometer. There's your trip A, trip B, average miles per gallon. There's how many miles you have left until you hit empty. There's your oil life meter. I always like checking that out. There's tire pressure for each individual tire. There's air filter life. So it's basically everything you could possibly want up there. The only thing I did not find was an outside temperature. Wouldn't have minded seeing that as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. quality. There's a panoramic power sunroof available for the LT trim level and up. We obviously don't have that option. Overhead sunglass holder coming standard for the LT trim level and up. I like that. Universal home remote coming standard for the Premier. It's going to be the garage door openers. Dual zone climate control for the RS and Premier. You're also going to get a wireless phone charger for the Premier as well. But when it comes to overall interior quality, I will say everything is definitely on the basic side of things. Just in front of the shifter though, you do have a little bit of rubberized storage. You got a bunch of charging ports, 12-volt power outlet. You got dual cup holders just to the right of the shifter there, electromechanical parking brake, a little more storage, and then within the center armrest. Now that is impressive. I think the space on the Equinox, they did a really good job with the space. There is a ton of space within that center armrest, more so than I expected. And you got some LED lighting in there too. But again, a lot of hard plastic, specifically around the cup holders and the shifter here. Always kind of critique the matte black plastic because in my mind, it's so easy to swap that out. Even if you keep it plastic, just for something with the design, a little more design element to it. So I would have liked to have seen that. But overall, like I said, everything is on the basic side. It's very functional though, easy to find everything. But so then make your way to the infotainment screen here. 7-inch color touchscreen display will come on the LS, LT, and RS trim levels. Then you got an 8-inch color touchscreen display for the Premier trim level. Either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming, but here's one of the best parts. Every single trim level is going to give you wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. So most vehicles, even nowadays, you still have to plug it into the car. But to have wireless on every single trim level, that is amazing. So I love that. Factory navigation system is going to be optional for the LT trim level and up. Check out your climate control settings up there, as well as your radio information. And so when it comes to the sound systems, you will find 6 speakers for all trim levels across the board. And then a 7-speaker Bose sound system is going to be optional for the RS and Premier. So having said that, we do have the 6-speaker sound system with us here today. So let's go ahead and turn to the radio, see what we got playing today. And let's test out the clarity of this one. All right, so I remember testing this sound system before, and quite honestly, for 6 speakers, it's not all that bad. So there's a decent amount of bass there. That was FM radio. That wasn't even Sirius XM, by the way. So the clarity does get better, but that clarity wasn't that great because it's FM, but still, the bass is decent, the clarity is decent when you hook up the audio streaming or when you play Sirius XM, but I will say that's not a bad 6-speaker sound system for what a 6-speaker sound system can sound like, I'll put it that way. But anyways, last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Equinox in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. Not the very highest quality rear view camera, but it is there nonetheless, letting you know what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so I always like to start with IIHS. This is not a top safety pick, unfortunately, due to the crash test ratings. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors to tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, automatic emergency braking, a following distance indicator, forward collision alert, front pedestrian braking, and lane keep assist with lane departure warning. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Equinox, I love the wireless connectivity, the wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. That is something I wish I had on my cars, and definitely something that most vehicles don't do right now. Rear seat legroom is great, 39.9 inches. That is more than even a lot of bigger SUVs, so that's very impressive there. As far as room for improvement goes, I would have loved to have seen some digital gauges, like a full digital gauge cluster. I know Chevy can do it, and a lot of the competitors right now are doing it as well in its class, so I would have loved to have seen that. And ambient lighting would be pretty darn cool, my particular opinion as well. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Nissan on TikTok at the bottom of the screen. We put out so many TikToks at Younger Nissan. But anyways, feel free to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews, and of course the YouTube shorts that we get from TikTok as well. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. We will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.